Hey guys, this is Ashley with Trendy Tree and Laurie
Tyler.
and Taylor. Taylor's in the background, and Laurie with Unique in the Creek, and she has joined us for our Wednesday workshop. She is going to be making a Christmas tree,
I am a Christmas
a
tree.
Christmas tree with the Unique in the Creek triangle board.
Yep.
I've never seen a tutorial with one of the Unique in the Creek boards, so this is new for me. Um,
Oh, awesome.
So there will be links posted to the products, and I am just going to turn it over to her and let her do all the things. And I'll be back on in just a minute. Let's
All
see.
righty.
Let me
Thanks,
figure out
Ashley.
There you
Hey,
go.
hi, Nina. Hello, hello. You guys got a different look today. I am not overhead today. I am front on. Hello, Pearl. Hi, everybody. And if you are joining and you don't know who I am Laurie Franklin, and I am the inventor and the CEO of Unique in the Creek wreath boards. Our wreath boards are, you've probably seen the gray boards with holes. That was me that did that. Just a little about our wreath boards. Our wreath boards are made out of recycled plastic. Believe it or not, they are made with yogurt and sour cream containers. I know what? So yes, so they are recyclable and they are made out of recycled material. The boards are made here in Canada. I am Canadian. However, we do ship from the US. So it's not quite made in the US, but we're your closest neighbor. So we're good, right? We're friends. So anyways, Trendy Tree has invited me on to do a demo of one of these. And I thought, why not a Christmas tree? It's right around the corner. Christmas tree is one of the easiest projects to do. And I'm going to go through it step by step. It shouldn't take too long because I have one pre-made. I do have a shoulder injury, so I had to do it slow today. So I'll demo and then I'll show you the finished one. And then we'll make a bow and we'll decorate it and stuff like that. Sounds good? So I will be bringing you down to the board. I haven't said that in a long time because usually I'm on the overhead camera facing right down because I'm always teaching, but I thought this would be a little different. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. So what I'm going to be doing today on the triangle board, like I said, is a little different than I've done before. Trendy Tree does sell the Unique in the Creek boards. They've been with us almost from the beginning selling. So I thank them very much for doing so. And I'm going to be using this really pretty, it's called Apple Moss Green. It's really pretty. It's a nice wide foil deco mesh. Okay. And it's got lots of sparkle in it without being like a really expensive mesh. So this is one of my favorite meshes to use. I can give you the code. The code for the mesh is RE136649. And that is the code for this mesh. You could probably see in behind me, you can use any mesh, okay? You could even use poly burlap. Now, poly burlap's quite thick, and you probably would have to wood burn the poly burlap, but you can make gorgeous Christmas trees out of like a snowdrift. We got a tinsel border stripe done here. That is just a sage sage value deco mesh. So it's basically all the same thing. It's just the way I show you how to fold your petals. You can see the white one is different from the Grinch one, which is different from the elegant one. So it is all just the way I'm going to show you to fold it. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. Okay. And besides cutting the mesh, I did the whole Christmas tree on my lap while I was watching Housewives of Potomac. I watched all of them. Okay, so I am using, I'm only going to be using one roll of this moss green because I am going to put in some of this fun faux pampas grass. Now, when I was talking to Ashley, they don't have this particular color in, but they do have a curly one. So if you want to do something like what I'm going to do, you can use it. This is the lime 32 inch. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stems on it. Okay. And I'm going to cut these stems. So we're going to make 10 pieces with this. The SKU on this is FG601356, if you're curious. So while I'm showing this, I'm just going to pull the stems right off the main wire here. Okay, so there's 5, like I said. And this Christmas tree, when you see it, is so super cute. Okay, so I just ripped them right off the stem. Okay, so we will be using these in our little project. And I'm also going to be using just a simple red, and I love, this is a new ribbon. It's a red and white plaid with like a hexagon glitter on it. So they're big chunks of like silver glitter. It is really, really pretty. Look how pretty this is. Okay, so this is going to be the top of my Christmas tree, the bow. We're going to make a nice big bow. And the SKU on that is RGE162356. Okay, I typically like to use 1.5 inch for the top of my Christmas tree, so it's not too big and overbearing. Sometimes if you use, I like to make lots of loops for my bows on my trees, and sometimes if you use a 2.5 inch, it's just a little bit too much. With the 1.5 inch, you can do many more loops without it looking too busy. Okay, so I got this beautiful ribbon. We'll do that at the end. And I'm also going to add, for a little fun, these are also new to the crafting world. This is a beaded wood snowflake. Hello, everybody. Look, you can see my face. Normally, you can just see my board. So this is a red and white wooden snowflake. They're fairly inexpensive and really, really cute to add to your Christmas tree or to any wreath. And the number for that is XA118324. I did that with no glasses, like way far. Alrighty, so that is what I'm using for this. And we are using 6-inch zip ties. I use zip ties for almost all my wreaths, especially a Christmas tree. You don't want to be twisting all kinds of pipe cleaners. No, we're going to use zip ties. I use 6 to 8-inch zip ties. I have both sizes. My normal is the 6-inch zip tie. Okay, 18 pound. 18 pound means it's just a small, skinny little thing, and the head is really small. Like the next size up, 40 pound, you'll be able to tell. It's got a great big head. Overkill. You don't need it. We're not really strapping anything heavy. We're just using it to attach mesh, which isn't heavy at all, right? Okay, so that is what we are using. And we're going to get this started. I'm going to go down to the board. So I'm going to turn my camera a little bit down so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see all that. I'll pull this up a bit. Okay, so on the triangle board, there are 12 sets of rows, 12 rows of holes. Okay, and they are numbered. So 12, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. 12, 11, 10, all the way up to number 1, way up here. Okay, and these sets of holes are used different ways. Okay, the way I'm going to do it today, because I'm adding a little extra supply or material to my Christmas tree, I don't have to use every row. Okay, now on this Christmas tree, I used every row because it was the look I wanted. So this is a white snowdrift Christmas tree. Isn't it pretty? So I used snowdrift mesh, 2 rolls of it. And you can see the back. I used every row with every hole all the way up. Okay. So it just depends what material I'm using and what style I want to make. Okay. So this is more of a farmhouse kind of looking Christmas tree, but it's really pretty, isn't it? So you can, like I said, you can use any kind of mesh that you want. This is another Christmas tree, and it is a different fold. Okay, it's a sage color, but you can see the fold is different than the white one I just showed you. But again, I used all the holes, so it is very full. But I only used mesh. Like I said, I am going to be using this faux pampas grass to go on with my mesh. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preload my board, and preloading my board means preloading the holes, the sets of holes on each row. Okay, so you go, there's a line in between each set of holes. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your zip tie, and you want to go down the first hole, but you want the flat side of the zip tie to be facing towards the tail. So my rule of thumb is always have the flat side of the zip tie facing in between the 2 holes. That way, when you go to do it up, it zips. Okay, you want to hear that zip and it locks. Okay, we are going to do every set of holes on row 12. So, and you don't want to do them right close to the board, okay? Just till you hear that clicking sound. Now, on this particular Christmas tree that I'm designing, we are only using row 12, row 10, row 8, row 6, row 4, and row 2. Row 1, we will be using, and I'm just going to be putting mesh in row 1. So like I said, for this one, we're using all the even number rows. So I'm using row 12, then I'm going to skip row 11. Then I'm going to use row 10 and skip row 9. Now, again, I want to reiterate, I'm doing this because I am using this, which will fill it up a little more than just using mesh. Okay. And that's why I can get away with using 1 roll of mesh. Alrighty. So once you preload your board, like I just did with your zip ties, you're going to then cut your mesh. This mesh, because I only want to use 1 roll of it, I'm going to cut my mesh at 9 inches. Okay. It is a 10.25 inch roll. However, we're going to save some mesh because I'm going to show you a little trick we're going to use making the petal for the Christmas tree using the inside of the mesh roll. Okay, so this particular petal does not have to be a perfect square. Normally, I will always tell you if you need a perfect square and what to cut it. So like the white one I did behind me, I needed a perfect square for that particular petal. This one, we do not. So I'm going to cut 18, 9. So you're going to cut your whole roll of mesh at 9 inches. Okay, so you got a 9 by 10.25 piece. You need 28 pieces. Oh, sorry, 38 pieces. I'm sorry. You need 38 pieces of the mesh cut at 9 inches. Alrighty, 38. Now you should be able to get about 40 pieces on a roll at 9 inches. So you will have a little bit extra left over if the manufacturer actually truly puts the 10 yards on the roll. Alrighty, let's start this bad boy. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be using this really pretty green faux pampas grass. Like I'm going to fold it just in half. I'm going to cut the end, a little bit of the wire off at the end. I'm going to grab the other end of the wire, not the plume part, but just the wire. And we're just going to fold that in half just like this. Okay. And I'm just going to snip it in the middle. There we go. So now we have 2 pieces of this really pretty grass. Okay. So for each plume, you will get 10 pieces. So we'll do the same. And this stuff is really fun looking, and that's why I wanted to kind of show it to you guys, because it really makes a huge difference on the Christmas tree. And you'll see in a second. All right, so you're going to need 4 full plumes. So 4 full picks of these. Okay, 4 of them. So once you got your pieces cut in half, let's take our board. And I'm going to try and do this upside down so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. You're going to take the inside of your mesh roll, okay, your cardboard roll. Take your piece of 9 by 10 inch mesh, and we're going to use it curl up, which means when I let go of it, it curls up. Okay. You'll see every time I make a video, you'll always hear me say curl up or curl down, depending what petal I am doing. For this petal, we're doing curl up. Okay. You're going to put it in a diamond shape right in front of you on your mat. And I want to reiterate, you have to make sure your factory edge is on the top left and bottom right. This will help make all your petals look the same. This one's not as bad as some of the other petals if you don't do it, all the same way. But if you get in a habit of doing it, then you don't even think about it anymore. Especially if you're making like a sunflower or a poinsettia, you want to make sure that your mesh is correct with the factory finished edges. Okay. Then you're going to take your cardboard roll from your Deco mesh, put it at the bottom of the corner of your diamond shape. Okay. And you're going to roll right to the top corner, just like that. Okay. Slide out the cardboard, keeping where you just rolled it, keeping the center held, and give it a little tug on both ends. Okay. And then put your mesh, your rolled piece of mesh, on your table and flip it upwards. And then when you flip it upwards, what we're looking at is to make sure that both sides are even. So they're the same length. Okay. And this is what we call a rolled petal. It's very easy. The whole Christmas tree is being done like this. So that's why I pre-did the Christmas tree, because you don't want to sit here watching me roll petals when I could have, been doing it, watching my shows on my lap. So you're going to take the bent part of this petal. I call it the nub because I had to call it something so people would know if they had a question or something what I was talking about. I'm going to put it in about 1/2 inch into the zip tie. Now the edge ones, you always want to angle them with the board. Okay. Hello, everybody. You don't want to put it in straight. If you put it in straight, you'll see the corner, right? If you angle it, you don't see the corner anymore. So you always just for the edges, the side edges, you want to go in on an angle. And then I'm going to take one of these that I cut in half in as well. And you got about 1/2 inch of your nub in there. Mine's about a fingertip because I have really small fingers. And then you're going to do your zip tie up around the petal, just like that. Okay. So we'll do it again. We're going to do that whole row. Curl up, put it into a diamond shape. Factory edge is on the top left. bottom right. My tattoo is my right hand. You're going to put your cardboard roll at the bottom corner, and you're going to roll to the top corner. Alrighty. Keep holding where you just left off, because if you let go, it's going to unroll. Pull your cardboard out, give it a tug on one side, a tug on the other, flip the mesh. Now I like to have my petals with the full piece facing upwards. I don't know how else to explain it, because when you flip it over, you can see that cutout. So I'd rather see more of the mesh, so I can see this beautiful sparkle in it. All right, and then I'm going to take one of these half little plumes and put the whole thing about a ½ inch into the zip tie and pull. Isn't that pretty? It actually looks like, wait till you see the finished one, but it actually looks like greenery, but this is faux, so it's just fabric, and it's very inexpensive. I think one plume thing is like $2, so you only need 4 of them. And using them, you use less mesh as well. So if I wasn't using these, I definitely would be doing each row. Okay, so you would need 2 rolls of this mesh. So let's do it again. Curl up, top left, bottom right for the factory edge, bottom corner, right in the middle of your cardboard, and roll. Slide out your cardboard, give it a little tug, put it on your table, flip it up. And when you're flipping it up, we're making sure that they're both about the same length. Hello, hello, everybody. Thank you, thank you. This is going to be really pretty. Wait till you guys see. Again, put the nub part, the folded part in, got our little plume, and pull the zip tie. Okay, you're going to do that whole row exactly like this. Okay, and once you're done that whole row, you're going to come along and you're going to cut the zip tie tails off. Now you can use pliers, you can use little wire nippers. These are what I use quite frequently. Okay, so they go right down to the head. And also a lot of us that do a lot of unique and creek wreaths, we use a zip tie gun, and it really, really helps out with your hands, and I'll show you why. Okay, so we're going to do our fold, and this is, you can see why I literally sat and watched my shows on my couch and had my little cutting mat that I always use on my lap, and I just sat and rolled petals while I watched TV. All right, so here we go. Pull it. Now with the zip tie gun, there is a slit in here, and you're going to put the end of the zip tie into the slit and just pump. What it will do is pull your zip tie, and then when it's really tight, it will cut it for you. Okay, I do have these on my in my store, but you can also get them on Amazon. This one's actually metal. So if you're like me and many others that use, a lot of unique and creek boards, you'll probably want to invest in one. I think they're $19.99. They're not super expensive or anything. Okay, so you're going to do row 12. You're going to skip row 11. You're going to do the exact same thing with row 10. Again, let's go over the edge, the side piece. So I'm going to preload. So I preload all the rows before I start anything. And then I cut my mesh. Then I put my mesh into a big pile. And then I bring everything upstairs. Well, I even do this sitting on the couch too, and you can pre-make petals as well. Okay. Pre-making the petals is, I have a laundry basket, and I will pre-make my petals again while I'm watching TV on the couch or in my recliner. What I'll do is make the petal. So let's make the petal. pull out the cardboard, flip it up like you did. Now, to pre-make your petals, at the dollar store, you can find these little clear rubber bands, okay? They're in the hair section at the dollar store. You get about 500 of them for like $1.25. And what you can do is you can elastic band your petal and toss it into like a grocery bag. I use a laundry basket. So I make a petal, put the elastic around it, and toss it in till I have them all made. And then it's literally whipping all the petals into the zip ties. Okay, so you'll put your zip tie, your petal in. Again, when you're doing the edge, you want to angle it. We're going to put our plume or whatever it's called in and do the zip tie up. So as you can see, every row you do, it starts to layer on top of each other and you don't see the zip ties. Okay, so you would do this complete row, cut your zip ties when you're done, the whole row. We're going to skip row 9 and do row 8, skip row 7, do row 6, skip 5, do 4, skip 3, do 2, and I'm going to do 1 with just mesh. Okay, so makes a really, really cool looking Christmas tree without a ton of cost, because like I said, this is a wide foil deco mesh, and these plume things are fairly inexpensive. Like I said, about $2, and you'll need 4 of them. So 4 pieces of the 3.25 cut in half, which is 10. And we're using rows 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. All right. I'm going to bring the finished one over here so you guys can see how pretty it is finished. Doesn't it look fabulous? It looks so real, and it gives the whole Christmas tree such nice dimension. And can you believe this Christmas tree was made with 1 roll of mesh? 1 roll of mesh. Now, like I said, I would use 2 rolls if I didn't have these little things in it. Okay, and I'll flip it over. You'll see how nice and neat your back is. So your customer only sees this. It looks like stitching. And you can see I did 12 and I skipped. I did 10, skipped, all the way up to row 2. Now, row 1, what I did, actually, I will cut. Now, if you make a mistake, it's easy to fix your mistake. You just turn it over and cut your zip ties off and start again. So if you say get up to here and you don't like it, cut your zip ties off and start over. And you can also tell exactly where you left off. So I could leave this tree, leave it for weeks and still know, okay, I left off. I need to finish row 1. So how cool is that? So row 1, I'm just going to finish it off with just mesh, because we're going to do a nice bow with some tails coming down, and we're going to add our decorative snowflake. Now, there is, like at Hobby Lobby and stuff, they have a whole aisle of little tiny ornaments for mini Christmas trees. They're fabulous to decorate the Unique in the Creek tree. Like, these are amazing for anybody that's like in a nursing home or a college dorm, or lives in a trailer or something that they don't have room for a Christmas tree. They can hang their Christmas tree on the wall. Like, how cool is that? Okay, so I folded my mesh exactly the same, but I'm going to put the nub part in a little higher. So I'm leaving about 1.5 inches, 2 inches that I'm putting into the top. Okay, you're not going to see this part of the mesh because we're going to be making a bow, but we don't need to waste any of our fun plume stuff because the bow tails are going to come down, so you won't even see that. So that's why I'm just using 3 pieces of mesh. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. We are making a Christmas tree if you just joined us. And this is, I call it a traditional Christmas tree because it's kind of a traditional color, but you can use any kind of mesh and any kind of ribbon if you want. So instead of plumes, you can put little pieces of dovetailed ribbon into your wreath to decorate it. I kind of like to keep it simple. Okay, so there is our Christmas tree, the base of it done. All right, and there's the back. So if you're selling this at a craft show or anything, the beauty of Unique and Creek boards too is you're going to slap your business card on the back, tape it really well, use packing tape, make a sticker, just something that the customer will know where they purchased this wreath, because you know their friends are going to want one. And most times the answer is, oh, I don't know, I just got it at a craft show, I don't know who I bought it from. When you put your card on the back, they won't take it off. But when their friends ask, they can just flip it over and say, oh, that's where you can get one. Okay, so that's the finished tree. Let's make a bow. I'm gonna make a nice big bow for my tree. Now I do my bows a little different than a lot of people, but I am going to use my friend Leah's Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. All right, and we're using this gorgeous ribbon, and I'm going to make my tails I'm just going to do about 12 inches. Yeah, I don't want it too big. You can make them as long as you want. Well, maybe I'll do 20 inches. Yeah, because when you're making your bow, it's easier to cut your tails back because they're too long. If they're too short, you kind of got to remake your bow, right? Because you can't add ribbon. So I tend to like to make them just a little bit longer in case I don't want them that long. At least I can cut them back. Now this is where I make it really different. I like to have both my tails coming out the bottom of my bow. Now I know a lot of people start with their tail and then they do their whole bow and then the top tail comes down the top. I don't like that. So I cut my tails separately, just like that. Okay. And now I'm going to start my bow. So when I start my bow, I was going to go use my Mevo and zoom it down, but I'm going to go down the 2 prongs with the so this is the glitter side, non-glitter side. So we'll call this the bad side. This is the good side. So we're going down the 2 prongs just like that with the bad side facing up. Okay. And then I'm going to bring my ribbon over. Now loosen your ribbon up. And I'm going to make my loops 6 inches. Okay. So I'm going to come around and now you can see the glitter part. You're going to slide it right down. And I'm going to adjust it till the end of my loop is hitting that 6 inch. And I'm going to give it a half a twist towards me. Okay, and then stretch it out to make sure it's at the 6 inches. And that half a twist brings up the bad side again. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing as we did on this side. We're going to come over. There's that good, pretty glitter side. Go slide it down in between the dowels. Adjust your loop. And once it's at the 6 inch, give it a half twist, push it down. And again, you have your bad side up. Okay. Now, I am not the greatest at making bows. I've been practicing for a while. But I'm getting better. And I'm getting apparently I am pretty good at teaching it too. So that's a good thing. So we're going to keep doing that. I'm going to do about 8 loops. I got a whole thing of ribbon. I'm going to do about 8 loops of the same ribbon. You can mix your ribbons up if you want. I tend to like a simple style. And if you watch my videos and stuff, a lot of my wreaths are very simplistic. But you can, any wreath that you watch me make, you can add all the bells and whistles like everybody else does. I like to keep them economical and easy to make. So I tend to use not a ton of product. But I just want to say you can add as much product on a Unique and Creek wreath as you want. We do have, I think, 12 different shapes now. So we have a rectangle, which makes the swags. We have a big oval. We have a character board. We have the triangle board. We have the horse. We have the ring, so it looks like a normal wreathing frame with the circle cut out. We have the large board, and the large board is used for most of the flowers. And we have the small board, which is the same as the large board, just a little smaller, so your flowers would be a little bit smaller. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're just going to keep looping, going down, half twist. Maybe I'll do six loops. My arm's getting tired. I hurt my arm and I went to the doctor and he believes it's a torn rotator cuff. And it wouldn't be bad if it was the left arm, but it's my right. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is fabulous ribbon. I just have to say this. Fabulous ribbon. It holds its shape really well. And the glitter is not coming off. I love this new ribbon. It's called Hexagon Glitter. Okay, so I have 6 loops. Okay, I'll just leave it at 6. And then once you're finished your bow, you don't have to give it a half twist because we're going to keep the glitter side facing up. Now you can do a little fancy move where you take, once you're finished all your loops, you can bring your ribbon around the smaller peg. Okay, just like that. Come down the center and push it. And that's going to make a little center loop in your bow. Okay. And now I'm just going to cut it off my roll. All right. So there is our bow. Now I like to use, obviously, I told you before, I love to use zip ties. So I even use zip ties on my bow, plus I use a pipe cleaner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is place my zip tie right on the table in front of me, and I'm going to carefully lift. Now, a lot of people slide their pipe cleaners underneath and all that stuff. Yeah, I do it the hard way, but it's easy for me. I take everything off the bow maker and just put it right stacked on top of the zip tie. Now I'm going to bring the head of the zip tie inside the little loop there. Now you don't have to make a fancy bow like this, and then I do the zip tie up. Okay, not super tight, because what I'm going to do is bring the zip tie head to the back of my bow. There we go. There's the back. And I'm going to put the pipe cleaner underneath the zip tie, just like that. Okay. And once it's under there, this is what I'm going to attach to the board. So I'm going to do this up super tight, and we have a nice tight, the bow. The tighter you can get your bow, the more you can like reef on it to get those loops to where you want them. Okay, so there's my bow. Now I'm going to cut this little tail off from that centered loop right close to the zip tie. Then you don't see it anymore. Okay, that is a Laurie bow. I don't know what it's called. And if you have any of these, you could probably stick these in. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to take our tree. All righty. And right at the top on row 1, right over the middle zip tie here is where I'm going to put the 2 ends of my pipe cleaner. So one goes here and the other goes here. So it is in the center of my Christmas tree. All righty. Just like that. And then I'm going to flip it over and I pull it until, you know, you get some resistance and then twist it. And then I'm going to cut the excess pipe cleaner off and I'm going to put that back down the holes. So we have a nice, neat back still and nothing to scratch the door. And then once it's all attached, then you can start opening and fluffing your bow. So you give it a good yank, because this is where you'll be like, oh, thank gosh I used zip ties. So get your loops, and then once you got your loops going, then you can start opening them. And I just love the green and red and white. I'm a very traditional person. So you can use fun ribbon, any 1.5 inch ribbon. Like I said, I like to use 1.5 inch so I can make more loops. If you use 2.5 inch, it kind of gets top heavy. There we go. It's super cute, isn't it? All right, we're going to dovetail these edges. And this is where I like to have my tails. So normally when you have a bow, it's going to come out the top, the tails. My tails are like perfectly even and will lay nicely to where I want them. All right, so I'm going to take my cardboard roll and we're just going to give it a little curl. All right, I'll do the same on the other side. You know, something like that. And of course, we'll just keep doing loops until we actually go to take the paper, the picture and everything. Now, I did have a little wood snowflake I wanted to add, just to add a little bit of something to my tree. So I'm going to zip tie it so it just hangs in the middle of the tree here. So I am going to flip this over after I just fluffed all my bow. And let's have it going maybe right here. No, right in between, where on this row. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right where the feather is, I'm going to put a zip tie just like this and push it down. And that's another way you can load the board. So I'm just going to bring these petals up so I can see my zip tie. So there's the row 5. I'm going to take my little wooden bead thing and I'm going to put the loop around the tail of the zip tie and I'm going to zip tie it right to the board. So you can see I use no glue, no nothing to make this. Alrighty, and then we will put these all back down. Isn't that cute? And you can decorate your Christmas tree however you want. But it's a fairly easy process. You can add lights, but it's a lot of fun to make. Like I said, I made this in my lap while I was watching my housewives. And then we're going to add, last thing, we're going to add a hanger. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put a zip tie. You can put one just in the hole up here to hang it. I tend to like to hang it from row 3. So I have my hand in underneath the mesh and I'm just going down this hole, which is the center, and back up this one, and I'm making a hanger. So I'm clipping it off, and there's my hanger. And our Christmas tree is done. I will bring you guys back up so you can see the full look of it. And normally you don't see my face. Hello. Yes, this is what I look like. Let me fix the bow for the big reveal. Now you can cut the nubs off on when you do row 1. I'm just using it as leverage for my bow. Gotta open the loops. All right. And you can cut your loops back if you want. But there is our Christmas tree. Isn't it cute? And there's the back. So I used 1 roll of mesh. If you're not going to use these things, you use 2 rolls of mesh and do it exactly the same. And you can, like I said, decorate it however you want. Trendy Tree has these little wooden snowflakes. They have the ribbon, they have the mesh. The only thing they don't have, I think, is this.
We don't have the plumes, so I was able to put a few kits together really quick. Carrie texted, she's at the mastermind. She was like, put some kits together, hurry. So I was able to do a few.
Yay!
Grab it because there's not a lot, but I was able to put that green curly spray in there that's going to be kind of similar to that, but a little more whimsical.
I know which one you're talking to, and they can cut it down to size as well.
Cut it down. I went and looked at it. It's fine. Yeah. That's the best ribbon because that glitter doesn't come off.
I know. I love this ribbon. It's so exactly. And people are scared to use glittered ribbon because of it always falling off. But this new stuff
does not.
Nope. Now you can make this, right, Ashley?
Ma'am?
You can make this, right?
Me?
Yeah. You just watched me. You said it was the first one you watched. Don't you think it's pretty easy?
Sure.
You weren't even watching.
Probably make it. Maybe. I just sell the things. I don't make them.
I know. You had said that. That's why I put you on the spot.
I have been practicing. I'm getting better.
Well, this is really, really easy. If you can roll a piece of mesh, you can make one.
It's so cute too. And I like the ornament on there.
Yeah, it's just something a little simple. Some of them I put signs on them.
I do
the
love
the mesh is beautiful too. So there's just so much you can do with them. That's just one type of Christmas tree I do. I do have over 400 tutorials on my YouTube channel on using all the boards, but you can get your boards and your supplies at Trendy Tree. They carry them, like I said at the beginning. They have been a distributor. There you go. Since almost the beginning. So I thank you guys again very, very much for your support.
Oh, we love it.
And hopefully we can do some more unique and creek wreaths because maybe we'll do a nice poinsettia or something.
I love the poinsettia.
Yeah, they do. And you can also do, this is also a triangle board as well.
That's so cute.
So there's many, many things you can do with the different shapes.
I love that. I would love for you to do something with the rectangle, the new one.
Yeah, we make
gosh, we froze.